why am I here? It's funny. It's like just shows you how little bios actually reveal about who we are. 'Cause, yeah, this question is like, who am I? Why am I here? Is kind of the question I've been asking myself since I was a little kid. When I came into the world, and I looked around and said, who brought me here, and can I go back to where I came from? I'm not sure it's really such a good place for human beings. So I think what I'm going to share with you is a little bit about my journey of trying to answer that question: who am I and why am I here? In some ways, it's a journey of forgetting and remembering. Forgetting and remembering. Because I think when I got here and I looked around, I kind of remembered that I was here for a reason. And the reason seemed to be to make people smile, right? Could I put a smile on the face of the people around me? And so I found my purpose, and my purpose seemed to be this question: how do I live in the world in a way that does not increase the suffering in the world? Because once I got here and realized I didn't want to be here, I was like, well, if I'm going to be here, let me fix it. I'll try to fix it. I'll fix it. Let's fix it. You know, I was like 6. I'll fix it. It's cool. I'll fix it. You know, so I tried to fix it. Other part of my strategy was like, you know what, I don't know if I'm really going to live here. I'm not really going to be here. I'm just going to kind of like fix it but not be here. So what that meant was, from the time I was 6 till the time I was, till about 2000, I was like, well, I'm not going to have kids, right? Because why would I bring other people into a world that I didn't really want to be in? That didn't really seem kind. I'm not gonna start a household or couple or do that stuff, because that's the things you do when you're here and you plan on staying for a while. I'm just gonna fix it. And that kind of my little 6-year-old strategy kind of all fell apart. Because at some point I looked around and I was like, wow, I'm bringing suffering into the world. In part because I'm not really living. And I figured out that there's actually no way to be in the world and not impact those around us in ways we don't quite understand and realize. So then I was faced with another dilemma. I was like, do I want to stay knowing that to live means that I may add suffering to the world? And I had to decide. And so I said, okay, let's give it a try. So I went to South Africa. Jennifer can tell us about her trip there and what she discovered. That seemed like an important place to be. I spent some time with people there. I went off to a Buddhist monastery and spent a few months there. Because the other part of what had happened to me in my story, and it's such a blessing to be here with all of you conspiring. The word conspire means to breathe together. And funny thing is, like when we're all singing with the choir, if they put little monitors on us, they would actually notice that our heartbeats start to align. It's a funny thing when we breathe together, because we're connected. So, but anyway, yeah. So I was fortunate to grow up in a family in which the kind of the political and the spiritual were they were not two, they were just one, right? And then I left home, I went to college, and I was told that those things are not one thing, they're two things, and you have to choose. Marx or the Buddha? And I chose Marx. Well, I actually chose Cabral, but that's a whole other story. And Fannie Lou Hamer. I chose the political tradition because generationally, some of the folks in the room who lived through this, the political tradition that I grew up in was the one in which a tradition of struggle that was born in communities of faith grew into a form of struggle that kind of lost its soul. It lost its connection to that which is bigger than all of us and that which is beyond our comprehension, our capacity to know. So these things got separated from me generationally. So part of what happened in 2000, in addition to deciding that I was going to live in the world and start a family and have kids and do the things that people do when they decide they're going to live in the world, is started a thing called Movement Strategy Center. And the Movement Strategy Center, really the question was that these two things that for me as a kid were one. Like, could we make those two things one again? Right? Could we make those two things one again? And that was really the question that out of which the Strategy Center sort of emerged at the sort of turn of the millennium. So we began a little adventure, and I began to find other people who were also asking themselves that question. And it's so powerful to be in community with all of you because a few years ago we were gathering stories from people who were kind of on this path, and that those stories we called Out of the Spiritual Closet. Because it wasn't that long ago that the principles that are sort of at the foundation of this community and hold it together, that those were things that us well-trained materialists would have to sneak off and do over in the corner and make sure no one knew that we were coming to yoga class or that we weren't martyring ourselves to the cause in some way, because that was kind of core to the story we were sort of trapped in. But a lot's changed, and there's community like this that's emerging everywhere because our survival as a species and kind of depends on it. Like we have to complete this transition that we're in. So it's so great to have Brother Carl here because he's taught us so much about this. But what's sort of exciting and terrifying about this time is that we're sort of living in the end of a 500-year cycle of death. And that old world is dying, and a new world she's sort of coming to life, and she's breathing, and she's singing, and she's here, like everywhere you look. Like, there she is, right? And this old world that's sort of collapsing and dying, like it knows that its days are over. And that's why it's going out in such an ugly way. Right? That's why it's going out in such an ugly way. And I think what those who are afraid of what they're going to lose as it collapses, what they didn't count on and what they didn't anticipate and what they didn't plan for, is like how beautiful we are. Right? How beautiful we are. And how powerful we are when we stand together and breathe together and sing together and meet together. They had no idea. They really underestimated us, which is great. That's good for us. Because we gotta accelerate this process, right? This process of unfolding, this kind of midwifing, the new world that's emerging. So I'm gonna share with you a few poems. But yeah. So and I've never shared poems in front of a group of people before, so this will be the first time for both of us. Yeah, so I have no idea where we're going, but we'll go there together. So yes, and my friend Madia said they're like more like prayers than poems, so they seem appropriate for this community. So this one is, I appreciate your poems, she said. So happy to hear that, but I would not call them that out of respect to the poets. The poets know how to unmask the unexpected in all of its ambiguous beauty with craft and artistry. This, just desperation. It's just the you inside of me trying desperately to reconnect with the me that's alive in you. Resonance and reconnection. Echoes of the beginning and the end. No matter how much pain we may feel, we are never alone. We are one, and we are many, and we are one. So my daughter said, Dad, sometimes she looks over my shoulder when I'm on Facebook writing these poems, because that's where they go first. They just go to Facebook. It's like my free group therapy, basically. It's what it is. It's my free group. She's like, why do you write the same poem over and over again? And I'm like, first I'm annoyed. I write the same poem over and over. And then I'm appreciating the honesty of children who sort of possess neither desire nor the capacity to sugarcoat the truth, right? She's like, I guess you're right. I guess you're right. So what I realize is there's sort of one thing there's only one thing that I know, and it's a very, very simple thing, and I keep trying to figure out how to get my hands around it, and I can't ever quite get my hands around it, but I have to keep trying and get my hands around it because it's just such a simple thing, right? It's like the simplicity of a mother's embrace, the simplicity of a door open and welcoming the stranger in for sustenance and care and shelter. It's just the simplest thing, and I just keep grasping for it. So that's kind of what you're hearing here, and it's these things sort of just, the other reason I'm not a poet is I don't sit down and write poetry. It's like, this is what I do when I can't get out of bed in the morning and take care of the kids, because I'm in such despair that I have to kind of write myself back to life. So I have, I'll share one of these, which let's see here. Let's just give you a few more of these and then we'll send you anyway. I wrote you one, but I'm not gonna. I wrote you one about love and. No. It's for you. Okay, I'll give you the ones that are for you, and the other ones you can just find on my whatever. So, because two of them came for you, so that I should give them to you because they came for you, right? So I'm here because the body knows what it needs and the soul knows how to heal. I'm here because I was asked to come and contemplate with you the most important question, the question of love. It is a basket of many questions, a single seed with an entire rainforest hiding within, a string of stones upon which we sometimes stumble in blindness, and then the next moment find ourselves walking with illuminated clarity as the earth and our feet sing their shared song with each kiss. This is the gift of grace. Who am I, truly? Why am I here? Who are we? What do we dream? And what are we becoming? And what does the dream need to show us about who we need to be and become? If I may, I want to ask you, what is the question burning in your belly, sounding the drum of your broken heart, dripping from the sweat of your brow? What is the question that wakes you from the dead of deep sleep in the stillness of night? Comes to you in your dreams, shape-shifting, but always recognizable. What is that question? The question of love, it began as a knowing. A question born of forgetting. Forgetting where we come from, forgetting who we truly are. A great forgetting that has made possible the great transition and the great awakening that is underway. A return to the source made possible by remembering who we are. It kind of comes down to kind of how we think about this 500-year transition and the beginning of a new 500-year cycle, which Carl can tell you Carl has a vision. He's seen where we're going, so we got to get Carl up here next week to do the part 2. But we think about this as in the context of transition, the old is dying, the new is struggling to be born. A world organized around hyper-individualism, violence, domination, extraction, war, and militarism, to a world rooted in the recognition of our interdependence, a world of love, care, and community, a world of resilience and regeneration, and reciprocity, right? So that is the revolution in values. That is what is dying, and that's what's being born. This is the transition that is everywhere you look. It's just coming to life everywhere you look. It's the most basic thing. It is the sort of soul remembering. It is the process of remembering who we really are and who we've always been. And it's that complex and it's that simple. Returning to the place we never left. So that's a story of transition. We're in the middle of it. And let's see what to say. I think I have time to leave you with the other one that came for you, which is there's kind of like these phases in my life, and in the beginning of Movement Strategy Center was sort of a phase, and then now I'm kind of in the middle of this other breakdown phase, which kind of started with the movement for Black Lives, so what happens when you sort of face something and you don't turn away, and then it just sort of keeps coming to you and keeps coming to you and keeps coming to you. And as someone who had worked on issues of police violence early in my activist career, and then I went on to work on other issues, right? What Movement for Black Lives could have reminded me as it came to me was like, I kind of accommodated myself to that pattern of violence. I'd basically come to the belief that black people, we could be killed at will at any time and nothing would happen and it would never change. That it would never change, right? That we could fight against it, but fundamentally that pattern of violence would never shift. And what the young people in Movement for Black Lives sort of, they sort of brought me back to life in a way in which that violence not only became intolerable, I started to believe that violence could end. And as soon as I believed it could end, I could no longer tolerate it, right? So then, I couldn't get out of bed, because then it's like I'm looking at it, and I see a woman in a car with her partner and the child in the back seat, and I'm looking at this, right? And I'm like, okay, how do I get out of bed, right? Because this is intolerable and unacceptable. But what can I do? What can I do? So I've got some poems on that which I will not read. But yeah, I have a lot of that. Because the thing is, and that's why my daughter's like, why do you keep writing the same poem? Like every time I wake up and I look in my computer, I see a black person being murdered. Like pretty much every day. So And the problem is the same and the solution is the same, but yet the pattern persists. So this like the interesting thing about this is like it started to this process of like facing and not turning away. It started to kind of like it's like a cyclone. Like when a cyclone comes through, what it does is sort of strips away everything that's not essential. Everything that's not like tied down and fastened to the earth will be stripped away. And then all that's left is what's essential, right? So moving for Black Lives, like just stripping away all the parts of me that are just superfluous. And then then like I'm left kind of raw there. Engaged, because I'm engaged with the people who are actually like dealing with the families who have lost their family members, right? Supporting them in this context and trying to get them resources and trying to, right, do what I can do, given what I can do. And then we had an election, and you might have heard about that. And that was another process of stripping away. And so, I went to bed on November 8th, clear, and then I woke up on November 9th in the morning, and this is what I wrote. So I'll leave you this one, and then I'll give you the other one that I developed, that sort of came for you. So, the cancer is one, and we are many, and we will not go back. The invitation has arrived to step into our courage and our full humanity. From this day forward, the harm can only unfold and multiply and spread with our silence, our consent, and our participation. We will not be silent. We do not consent, and we will not participate in legitimating violence, lies, and division. We will not accept or legitimate power claimed through fear, violence, or hatred. We will claim and assert the only true power. The love that we are, the love that connects us all, the love that bends history, even in this dark moment towards liberation. The time has come to live love without fear and hesitation, no matter the price. We will show up. We will lay our bodies down to protect and defend all of us against this cancerous flood of fear and violence. We will not sacrifice our humanity to become the cancer that is devouring all of us from the inside out. We will not sacrifice our humanity to appease our fear. We will not sacrifice our humanity to protect the few at the expense of all. We are one, and we are many, and we are one. All of us will defend and protect each of us. We will sacrifice no person, no community, no sacred place. To appease your fear and lust for power and control. The system on this day has simply revealed the rot of violence, fear, and domination that is at the core. We are freed of the illusion of legitimacy, free to live into our shared humanity, free to practice a deep and true democracy that respects the sacred and honors all living things and the webs that connect us. A death cult rises out of false hope and failed pragmatism that itself was born from fragmentation and self-righteousness. Incomplete revolutions generate their opposite. It is time, dear friends. The revolution of love must be completed. And it is only possible if on this day we commit our lives to walking the hard road, because now there is only one way forward. To insist that we will not wait, we will not participate, we will grind the machines of violence to a halt so that healing and reconciliation become possible. Love or death? I choose love.
Right.